Hey fam, it's Metal Rebel. Metal Rebel. Today I have a new brew to share with you. It's not competitive, but I guess some of you would say that none of my brews are competitive, so... Anyways, today I have a brew for a new Kaldheim commander. It's Firja, Valor's Judge. I wasn't really excited when I first saw her, but then when I really started looking at her abilities and started thinking about it, she's actually pretty interesting. So, I'm gonna share with you how I brewed the deck, what decisions I made, how I got to the list, and also the list itself. I usually don't share lists like these because I kind of like just giving the ideas and letting you guys go off and like brew it, because brewing is like most of the fun. At least that's what I think. So this time I feel like the list is so different that I feel like it's worth sharing, and hopefully you guys take it, you can play with it, and then like make it your own. If you don't want to watch the video, the Mach2 link is below. You can just click it and like copy and do what you want. So you can go do that if you want right now. But if you want to watch the video, here we go.
Here's what I wanted to build for a Valkyrie's deck. My main goal is to make this deck feel like a Kaldheim Angel deck as much as possible. The way it plays, the mechanics, and the flavor should draw from the plane. So here are some early thoughts. Rampage of the Valkyries being spoiled early acted like a signpost card for the tribe's strategy in Kaldheim. Along with Cleaving Angel and Eradicator Valkyrie, it seemed clear to me that the Valkyries have no fear of death, and this deck was going to be a really cool Angel Aristocrats deck. Later, we also saw Righteous Valkyrie, an angel that gains you life whenever another angel or cleric enters the battlefield, and rewards you for having 7 or more life than your starting total. We also saw Valkyrie Harbinger, so life gain seems like it's easy enough to fit within the tribe, along with a go-wide token strategy to complement the Aristocrats theme. Without looking at our commander, we already have a bunch of candidates within our archetypes. For Aristocrats, we have Dictate of Erebos, Ashnod's Altar, and Vampiric Rites. For our Angel producers, we have Luminarch Ascension, Angelic Accord, Court of Grace, Sigil of the Empty Throne, Divine Visitation, and Anointed Procession. And within Life Gain, we have Sanguine Bond, Angel of Destiny, Archangel of Thune, Angel of Vitality, Speaker of the Heavens, Bishop of Wings, and Resplendent Angel. Deck seems pretty easy to build, right? Now let's bring in our commander. Firja, Judge of Valor. She is a 5-mana flying lifelink 2/4 Angel Cleric, with the really interesting ability of whenever you cast your second spell each turn, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. If she sounds familiar, it's because her ability is very similar to a Dimir legend from Commander Legends, Nimris, who activates the same static for 1 spell cheaper. It took me a while to understand why or how Firja was designed this way, because her ability behaves strangely within the Orzhov color pair, but I think I can get to that in a little bit. Looking at her abilities, she doesn't really hit on the same notes we were looking at just a moment ago. I was expecting a legend that could make angel tokens, or had an ability that would sacrifice angels to trigger Rampage. But if we really look at her static, we can find some really interesting synergies. So let's break it down. The ability triggers on the second spell, and puts 1 card in your hand and the other 2 in your graveyard. So it rewards you for playing multiple spells each turn, meaning we want to have a low CMC to allow us to trigger this as often as possible. And once this triggers, we are putting 2 cards into our graveyard. Since we are in Orzhov, we have a lot of ways to maximize the value of this ability. There's a few really interesting things that can happen here. If you cast a top deck tutor, like Vampiric or Imperial Seal, Firja just puts that into your hand. If you play Necromancy as your second spell and flip a creature within the top 3 cards, you can animate that creature with Necromancy. Or, if you manage to trigger her ability consistently, she will help you hit your land drops each turn, which is important in an Angel deck. So you can see how Firja promotes abilities like Foretell in white, because Foretell helps you cast more spells in each turn by reducing the mana cost for the ability, and the black part of her ability lets you reanimate things or play with the graveyard. Like what we did before, the archetypes that Firja promotes now includes Pseudo Spellslinger and Graveyard Mechanics. For casting a ton of spells, I looked into the classic synergy of a Petra's Monument and White Mane Lion or Stonecloaker. We also want to play a lot of free spells to make it easier to trigger Firja's ability. For her graveyard synergy, I went through my cockatrice filters for anything we can use here, such as Flashback, Threshold, Dredge, Embalm, or Recover. I think the best thing we can do here is still playing things like Reanimate, Animate Dead, Necromancy, Ray of Dawnbringer, Karma Guide, and Amaria Shepherd. Lastly, don't forget her life gain. We can turn that life gain into more card advantage with cards like Well of Lost Dreams, so we can draw 2 cards off of each attack. Now let's bring back the original themes and see what we're working with. We have an Angel deck that wants to make Angel tokens to fuel sacrifice strategies, gain life to pump the team or draw cards, have a tempo of at least 2 spells per turn to fuel Graveyard and Reanimator strategies. Sounds pretty cool, right? I filled out the deck, adding cards like Dark Blast, Worthy Cause, Snuff Out, Dismember, Lion's Eye Diamond, and Corpse Dance. I goldfished it a few times and found some immediate issues. Something I like to keep in mind is what is the deck's rhythm. For example, some commander decks want to have a consistent curve that allows them to make a play each turn, to ultimately open up bigger spells in the late game. Some decks wants to play less on their own turn and open up 1 or 2 mana to interact and draw out the game until they themselves can play big bombs, meaning they have less 3 to 5 CMC spells and the curve is more like a V-shape. This deck's curve would look a lot like that second example, where we want smaller spells to increase the chances of triggering Firja, but the end of the curve should look pretty big, because those are our reanimation targets. So like those control decks, things like Divine Visitation, Dictate of Erebos, Sigil of the Empty Throne, and even Grasp of Fate competed with the rhythm for Firja's ability. Angels that didn't directly synergize with our many axes were also cut, so goodbye Avacyn, Archangel of Tithes, Akroma, Sephara, and Nivala the Preserver. With those slots opened up in some playtesting, I tuned the deck a little more. We always want Firja to come out as early as possible, and the deck desperately needed to find ways to get more mana. So I added Sword of the Animus and Sword of Feast and Famine. The life gain aspect of the deck seemed to be the easiest to trigger, so I leaned harder to life gain and added cards like Viscopa Guildmage for a massive, potentially game-ending swing that can kill the table, and also Witch of the Moors.
So that's all I have for today. Hope you found it interesting. Again, the Moxu link is down below. You can click it, copy it, do whatever you want with it, make it better. I also know that there's a lot of really expensive cards in here, like Lion's Eye Diamond and Scrubland, Jewel Lotus and Mana Crypt. You don't really need any of those, depending on what your meta is like. Like if you play in a slower meta, then you can replace it with any mana rocks if you want, honestly. None of the cards here are really crucial to the list, so feel free to switch any of the cards to what you want. If you want more Angels, you can do that. If you want Avacyn back in, you can do that. If you want to play more to life gain or more to the aristocrat strategy, you can totally do that as well. I recommend that you personalize it to how you want to play it. But I had a lot of fun brewing this. I'm really excited to play it. I don't really know what streams to play this on, but I will find one. If you have any recommendations, please put it in the description box below, and I will go put myself on that stream or use my AI to do it. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. Happy brewing. Bye bye.